Hi everyone, it's FC.Liverpool and we're talking everything Liverpool Football Club, everything. We'll be talking to Tommy Batty, who will bring right on right now, right away. I'll add in. And also, we're having a little technical problem. This is why we're late with George Scott, the Shankly boy, the lost Shankly boy. And we're waiting for this, but you've just heard the bell, so I've got to go and let him in. Excuse me. All right, Ian. You're in. So anyway, Ian's coming in now. We're trying to get George Scott on, and he's the lost Shankly boy. A book's been written by Jeff Goulden about him, and we're trying to get him on, but we're having technical problems, unfortunately. It'll be fantastic if Jason's trying to sort it out, to be honest, as we speak now. So hopefully we'll get him on very, very soon, very soon. So anyway, the rumours and everything else about Liverpool. Now there's more Americans trying to buy us. It's absolutely ridiculous, more Americans, as they say. I tell Ian to shut the door and he just waves at me. That's unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry about this delay. I really am sorry about it. I just can't believe the way some people, I don't know, just don't know. And these rumours about Bellingham, are we going to get Bellingham? Are we? I just don't know whether we are or not. In my opinion, we're never going to get him. But you get people saying, oh, it's a done deal, it's done this, it's done that, everything's sorted, it was sorted. And I was listening to one podcast saying that they're going to offer his dad a job, his brother a job. What jobs are they? I don't understand. What jobs are they going to offer them? Someone said that someone turned around and said he'd be offered, like, this is his dad. This is his dad. He'd be offered a scouting job. A scouting job. This is what it's all about, a scouting job. So do you really believe that he'll be offered a scouting job at Liverpool? Is he a scout? I don't know. I might as well become a scout for Liverpool Football Club. Anyway, Ian.
Hello.
Jason's trying to get George Scott on.
All right, okay. I was wondering what was going on there.
I know, and it's just terrible. It really is. He said it's just ridiculous. That's why I thought Jeff was coming on, but he couldn't make it, could he?
No.
And he would have got him on, you see.
Yeah.
So I just don't know what's happening. And we might
Is
have to.
Is it like the connection or something?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just anyway. We've got Tommy Batty on.
Oh, hello, Tom.
All right, here, lad.
Hiya, mate.
So listen, Tommy. Listen. You know these rumours about Bellingham. Did you ever think in the first place that he, be signing for Liverpool at any time?
What do you think? I think, Frank. All the rumours can go along all you like, but I think we must sign him. I think
Why?
we must sign him because for us to go forward and be where we were, we need someone like him and another couple in the middle of the park, which we haven't got now. And we need to sign Jude Bellingham. That's my opinion.
But the thing is, Tom, if we do sign him, if we do sign him, we need another 2 players, as you said.
Yeah.
And if the money that will be spent on him, and don't forget, they're wanting, aren't they? How much are they wanting? They're wanting around 130 million. 130 million. Well, that's the budget. That's the budget.
And his wages on top of that.
Exactly. I've always said all along, it's up to Dortmund, and we want to buy him on HP as well.
I don't care how we get him. But we need him.
I think most of the deals are done on like over the same of the contract, aren't they? No.
Yeah, but Manchester City and Real Madrid can just say, "Yeah, it's the Tosh," and that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, the Bellingham thing is like, it's just pie in the sky. It's always has been. But I think I seen Tony. Was it Tony Barton said the deal was done? He's just
Tony Morton.
Tony Morton. That was sorry. Tony Barton's come up there.
Yeah.
Tony Morton said the deal's done, and he seems pretty convinced, and he has got connections, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I never believed it had happened. I think it's a crossroads for FSG this summer. It's got to be, because it's whether you like them or you don't like them, it's a crossroads on whether they can compete or not. And like, if they don't bring in there's so many players going this summer that if they don't bring in the right quality, all right, they can bring in the quantity, but if they don't bring the quality with it, then we're just waving a white flag before August even gets here. For me, like,
that's what I'm saying about you, Bellingham. We need him.
I get that, but I think the disappointment with Bellingham is because we've just named him that much. Do you know what I mean? He's just been in the headlines that much about coming to Liverpool and the friendship thing with Trent and Henderson.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, though, Tom, I was saying the other week, our midfield is just 6 legs that just need to do the job that the 6 legs that used to do it the way they did it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the names are. Do you know what I mean? But saying that, we've obviously got a class act in Bajicic.
Yeah,
he's too young. I think what we need is play. I mean, but you say he's too young. Bellingham's only 19, isn't he? So it's not even an age thing in that sense. But I think
if he's good enough, he's young enough.
Yeah. If we had Bajicic and playing next to Bellingham next year, you'd be like, but they still would be 2 very young players. And we need a bit of experience as well. But we do have that experience already there, don't we? So,
but that's what I'm trying about, bringing another 2 in.
Experienced.
But that's
you bring another 2 in who have got experience in the Premiership, who are good, proven midfielders. They don't have to be world beaters, but they need to be proven in the Premier League, top class midfield players along Bajicic and Jude Bellingham.
I think you need someone who's at the peak. So maybe they're not. I think it has got to be a class player, to be honest with you. I think someone at the peak. So Bellingham, he's going to cost a lot of money. He's only 19.
Did you go for that, Ruben Neves?
Is he even getting in the Wolves team?
Yeah.
He's been on the bench every time I look. He's on the bench for them. I mean, he's obviously a great player. Not a great player.
But we'll sign him because he's always injured.
Well,
we'll sign him because he's always injured.
Yeah. Well, that's something else. I mean, we need to sign players who haven't got these injury records, but then our training regime's quite
strenuous.
Yeah, it's got to be, I think, for the system, but then you've got to get the balance right, haven't you?
The amount of time they're out after they get injured is ridiculous.
It's great. We're the, I don't know if you've seen that graph on the injuries, but we're the most affected team again, like we were a couple of seasons ago with injuries. I think a few seasons ago we had a few that weren't really our fault, obviously. They weren't training injuries. They were like in match injuries, bad towels and stuff like that. But a lot of our injuries now seem to be like, just players go, he's all of a sudden he's not fit. I mean, Henderson, wasn't fit, and he's gone off with England. Haaland isn't fit for Norway, but he's going to be back for the game against us. So we're doing it the other, which way round should we be doing this,
Yeah.
I
think with Jordan Henderson at England, I think it's more for his experience and his yap, because he does lead on the pitch for England. Everybody looks to him, and his voice is the only one you need on the pitch. Maybe that's why he's there.
Yeah, I love Henderson in our team. When I see Henderson in our team,
well, he's fully fit, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, it's going to be organised as much as it possibly
He's
can.
A leader on the pitch. You can't get away from that. He's a leader on the pitch.
And next to Bajicic, imagine Bajicic with Thiago. He's learning off them players, isn't he? I mean, he's just a class act, isn't he? You just see it now. It's just a class act.
Who is
Bajicic?
Yeah, but the thing is,
he's out now for the season anyway.
Exactly. It's not only that he's out for the season. Has he become an injury-prone player without training?
When you look, how old? He's 17, isn't he?
18, just 18.
And he must be putting the going through the mill in training must need to be up to that level as well. And then he was playing every week as well, twice a week. And in the end, it's just taking its toll.
Well, do you think that it's, both of you here, Tommy and Ian, do you think that it has taken its toll, that there was too much pressure on his shoulders?
Oh, without a doubt. No, the young kid was our best player.
Yeah.
He was our best player.
But
that pressure on the kid.
It's true, but I think he thrives on it as well. And also...
Oh, yeah.
He's only a year younger than Bellingham. And, imagine the pressure that's going to be on Bellingham if he comes here. But
I think Bellingham's used to it now, though.
Yeah, but they're both class players, aren't they? Because, I mean, the talk with Bajicic is that he'll be walking into the Spain side in a year or two.
Well, the only way they can prove it is on the pitch. Let them do the talking on the pitch.
Yeah.
Well, there's Stephen Snape. He turns around and says, that's the issue. We've got too much experience in midfield. We need a robust 24, 25-year-old. Casido at Brighton, maybe.
Yeah, we do need someone playing in the peak years, you know what I mean? Because we're at the high range and the low range of age, aren't we? That's what we've got in our squad.
So what would happen if the other fella didn't come?
Who? Bellingham.
Yeah. What was happening?
They know they've got to buy this summer. They've got to.
Yeah, but they never put out the money. They never give the money. They've always promised. How many years have they promised a treasure chest? Be honest.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Frank, if we don't buy midfield, I mean, the defence and the forwards, I think they're sound for now. The midfield is just non-existent. And we need players coming in them positions, as Ian's just said, strong, robust midfielder who can protect the back four, supply Bellingham and Bajicic with the ball to supply the front, which we haven't got.
Yeah.
I mean, the three that we had when success, they were like the workhorses, aren't they? Intelligence, game intelligence with letting the two fullbacks do the supplying of the forwards. You know what I mean?
That's why Trent's getting hammered now. That's why Trent's getting hammered now. He's got no one to back him up.
No, that's it. He's exposed, isn't he? The whole defence is exposed.
And that's just midfield. How many times have we been going on about the midfield, and we keep reiterating ourselves, and then saying about what Klopp said on the penultimate day of the transfer. This is at the beginning. This is in the summer. The penultimate day when the window closed, and he turned around, didn't he, and just said, "You're right, and I was wrong about midfielders." And he brought in Arthur Melo. What I was told was he didn't. I don't know whether he didn't want to bring him in, but he wanted to bring someone else in. But he was overruled to bring Mello in, or it was vice versa. I just don't know.
No, Frank. Who overrules the manager?
Well, there's people there.
It's a team, isn't it? It's like the recruitment team, they call it, don't they? So
No, but surely Klopp has the final say. Surely.
I can't see Klopp being a yes man, you know.
Oh, I don't know.
He's got too much in the bank, and this is. I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm like, he's got too much in the bank. If he didn't think FSG were going to back him or weren't backing him over the length of this contract, he could go to any club he wanted on mega bucks.
We've been saying that for weeks. We've been saying that for weeks, Ian. No, any club in the world would want him to manage them.
Yeah. So if he was,
go on.
So if he was being undermined, you'd think he'd see as rare and want to get off, wouldn't you? He probably.
But that's why it comes into question that he is a yes man to FSG. I think he is a yes man to FSG.
But why though? Because he could go anywhere and demand anything from anyone.
Well, that's the point as well. He loves the club. He loves Liverpool. He loves the fans.
Yeah.
And he loves the team. You know, so he mightn't want to upset the apple cart. And I really think, I believe this, and it's just an opinion. When FSG said that they were selling, they must have thought, you know, everyone must have thought, well, okay, they're selling. And there'll be someone coming in who'll dig deep and just say, you know, what do you need? What players do you need? And now that they're not selling, but there's another rumour about more Americans. That's just so brilliant.
It's all games, isn't it? It's all putting it out there. Like, they want to gauge the interest, don't they? We'll see what they can get. You know, I mean, and they're on about. So we weren't saying we were selling. We said we wanted investment in the club. So, but we've had investment before, and it hasn't actually gone on the pitch, has it? I don't know. It's like.
But the thing is, with FSG, right, and I don't care what anyone tells me, they could give Klopp a cheque for 500 million and not even miss it.
True.
No, because you know, you look at the money for the stands for the main. They've lent us the money to build the main.
They've lent us the money. They've lent.
Exactly, yeah. So they've lent the money, and it's a low interest repayment plan.
Very nice.
which will build their product up even more, which is great for them, innit? So as long as we're
doing 500 million on that. Stick another 500 million on that. I'll give them 10 bob a week.
No, it is true though. It's like, for me, it's like speculate to accumulate. And that's what we should be thinking. Yeah. In fact, that should have been a few years ago. And now we're at a point where we're definitely having to rebuild the team, rebuild the club.
Well, I was. Do you know what I was told? Only an hour or so ago. It's 4,000. I think 4,200 or something for a season ticket in the new stands in the Annie Road.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. It's hospitality, but you just get one seat and a free cup of tea and a pie, as you know. I've been in them.
And I'll bet you they sell like that.
They are. It's sold out.
Well, that's it. They know they can get that.
They've sold out.
You know, if you remember, they stalled on doing the Annie Road stand. They stalled on it because they said they couldn't recoup the money quickly enough. It'd take 15 years to recoup the money. And they've obviously had a rethink on that. But yeah, I think what you'll find with that is the prices will be high for it. You know, they will put, I mean, they're already putting the prices up for the first time in years this year, aren't this season, the next season.
You can't tell me an ordinary fan, loyal fan, can afford them prices, because they can't.
No. Well, obviously, I don't know how many seats were for these fans, you know, I think it was the 1,000 now. Was it 1,000 for like you and me and Tommy or whatever?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Like yeah,
and the rest is for
some for members, isn't there? Some for season ticket holders, but
And
they don't
corporate
want season
stuff.
ticket holders like us.
Excuse me a minute.
You know,
No.
they do not want season ticket holders. They want to get rid of us season ticket holders, and any excuse they can, they'll take it off you.
But the thing is that then people travel to Spain, that they travel to Turkey, that they travel all over the country, all over the world to watch their team. No.
Do you know what, Tom? What they're going to do? They're going to sell. They know they can sell that ground out every game, every week.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, without a doubt.
You know, they're just milking it, and
yeah,
they're not the worst. I don't think they are the worst owners. We've had that, but you know,
are they better owners than say David Moores?
Depends what you mean by better, doesn't it?
Are they better? Are they better? You know, like David Moores and what he did for Liverpool.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were better owners than him because he's a fan. He was a fan, wasn't he?
He was a fan, and I'll tell you what he did. He built the Kenny Dalglish stand, he built the Cop, and he built the Annie Road stand, right? And he bought players. Yeah, and he just said, didn't he?
At the end of the day, he, to be fair to him, he actually realised he couldn't compete anymore. And I think if you're a fan, which these aren't, obviously, then you've got to get to a point where you think we can't compete anymore. We've got to pass it on to someone who can. The trouble we've got is who they do pass it on to, because the club could be in any hands, couldn't it? At the end of the day, and
but the thing is, Ian, they're not going to pass it on. They're making too much money. They're going to keep hold of it.
That's why they only want to invest. They're making a fortune.
Yeah. So why is 500 million? It's a drop in the ocean to them.
All right, let's not even say 500, Tom. Let's say 250 million, because we're not getting that this summer, and that's like so half of what you've just said. And that 250 million, it'd be like you know.
Well, you get Bellingham for it anyway.
You know, that'd get us 2 top class players.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What?
So,
what's that? Some big fella with a beard.
Just come on, and I think he's been this over the years with a flying pan or something.
So you know, I think we're just in a bad situation, and it could go either way, couldn't it? We're at a crossroads.
Well, to me, it sums FSG up when they lent their own club, who they own, the money to build that stand. To me, that just sums them up. They're just there to make money. They don't care about the team.
Well, it's like you and I, or Ian, or whatever, buying a new roof for your ex, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
He's living with another man, you know what I mean? Yeah. Sold by Francis, strongly linked with Ryan Gravenberch.
Oh, yeah.
Dutch international at Bayern Munich. But what's he like?
Don't know much about him, to be honest. I've seen his name mentioned again. We're linked with it, with all sorts, aren't we? We're always linked with, Mason Mount,
I've heard the story that they're getting rid of Alisson and signing this unbelievable Dutch keeper who's only a teenager.
Yeah, like Carrius.
yeah, something like that, yeah.
Oh, you hear some rubbish, don't you?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I think the problem is we can talk about this every week, but I think at the end of the day, we can only wait and see what happens again.
Yeah.
And then when it does,
you've got opinions, but they don't count.
No.
Exactly.
None of us can understand, really, can we, why
no.
we can't just go out and buy a couple of players. I mean, we haven't. It's not like we've been buying players
every season.
There's been. we should be adding a player every window. I think, you know what I mean.
Yeah, every window. Yeah, the summer and the winter.
I mean, because you've got so many players leaving, going out now, or not good enough in that squad in midfield. That whatever you say, there'll be transition, and even next year with these players that are coming in, you just hope that they hit the ground running.
Yeah,
that's why we probably need someone from the Premier League as well to like come in, who's got it, who as you said, like, with experience.
The likes of Mason Mount, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. What about that Declan Rice? What about him?
I'd have either one of them.
Yeah, because they're better than what they are reaching the peaks, aren't they, as players in age?
And they're proven in the Premiership.
And they're not injury prone, are they?
I'm going to bring Mick Carter in here. So what do you think all this?
That's who it is.
What do you...
All right, Mick.
I'm giving up.
Sorry,
Right, so what do you think, Mick? Do you think that, about the midfield situation and who should bring in? Or do you think Bellingham's a pie in the sky as usual?
Pie in the sky as usual. Have you heard the rumours that the Klopp's going all out to offer Milner another year's contract?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the state we're in at the moment.
Well, that was the day before the news came out about Bellingham, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think there's something going on here. I think there's some sort of like there's all sorts going on, just to put it out there, because Klopp's come out one day and said about wanting another year on Milner's contract, and then the next day someone's come out and said, it's very unlikely Liverpool are going to sign Bellingham. And that was the fella from The Athletic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That said that. Someone else has said it was still in the race. We'll still be in the race for him.
I believe when I see it in.
I said that last week as well.
We get linked with all kinds of players, and it's the same every season. We'll end up getting a relegated midfielder, and that'll be our summer signing, and then Milner. That'll be the summer with these owners.
See, the thing with Milner is, I like Milner. I think he's great. I think he's been brilliant. But the problem is, he is going to take a place up in the squad, and he's not going to be able to play as many games. But when he does play,
this narrative that he's
good. You can't. Ian, he'd be 38 next birthday.
Yeah.
And we're Liverpool Football Club. Won 6 European Cups. We're up there. And you're saying that, Milner's great. He should be, given another. He shouldn't
I never said he should be given another. Yeah, I said if he is, it'll take a place up in the squad.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ian, you've got this sort of scenario where he wears a number 7. There's young players out there.
Yeah.
In other words, it's to save money again.
Oh no, yeah. I think Klopp's looking at it and thinking, at some stage we've got to tie players up in case we don't bring anyone in. I mean, I'll tell you now, I'd sell Curtis Jones.
Yeah,
he's one for me. I love the lad for it. He's said, love him to, but he's obviously not at the level when Bajcetic can come straight in and play as many games as he has done.
And that young lads as well. Harvey Elliott's
playing, and he's just to me should be surplus, and he could do with that money that he could get, because he is a decent player and he will make a good player for someone else. You know what I mean?
But you're talking about Milner. Milner, like I'm not slagging James Milner off. He's a great pro. But when you see Trent Arnold getting taken off the pitch for a 38-year-old who has got no legs now, how do you think Trent thinks?
And that's the problem.
And when he come off the other week, they go at him. You could just see, what am I doing here?
That's the problem. That's the old problem with the midfield and who to retain. There's loads of deadwood, and Milner is one of them. And so is Jordan Henderson. So I'd just strip the. I know what you're going to say about Henderson,
Yeah.
but he's got no legs, Ian, and he gets injured easily now. And that's another player that's taken up the squad. We need at least 300 million. 300 million, just think about that. That's what we need, and we'll never get it.
I think the problem is to say it again, we've left this again till the last minute. So really, over the course of 3 or 4 years, we could have let go of Jones, we could have let go of Henderson even, we could have let go of Milner, and we'd have been bringing in players, so it'd have been a steady progression. Now it's like to yourself, Frank, you're saying, let's get rid of 4 midfielders like that, Milner, Henderson, Jones, Oxlade-Chamberlain, all out the club in one go and bring 4 more in. So that's going to leave us with a midfield that have never met each other before going into next season, never mind played together.
Well, Charlie Cairns hit the nail on the head. It's only what you're saying, Ian. All the years I've watched Liverpool, always 2 or 3 players a season. And I always remember Bob Paisley. You know, we go back to Bob Paisley. I go back to Shankly. Anyway, Bob Paisley always brought in 2 players. And I don't know whether it was Terry McDermott or Craig Johnson who said, it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
And you want to play, even if you're injured, even if you couldn't go in and say, my leg's a bit sore, you know, or anything, or my back's gone. I always remember Stevie Highway, and we were playing Ipswich, and Mills, you remember him, the left back?
Yeah.
Played for England, Mick Mills. I always remember Highway went up for a header, and Mills was behind him, and he just hit the other fella, and he went in half. He went in half like this, you know, like that, and he somersaulted, and he fell flat on his back. Highway. And Highway just got up and trotted away. You know, just shoved, you know, Mills just hit him on his bum, you know what I mean? And he just carried on with it. The thing is...
It's a different stuff.
Yeah, but the point here I'm making is that Highway turned around and said, you cannot afford to be injured.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Right after today, you know, he would have been rolling over. I'm not saying Highway, but any player would have been rolling over, playing dead, carted off on a stretcher and out for about 6 months. And that's the problem we have today with some players. But the way our training methods are, and I think you've agreed, Tommy, and there's Mick again, look, he's like a yo-yo, he keeps coming in and out. You know, is it really the training methods that we're using that just put players out for months?
Yeah.
For months.
Well, let's face it, we don't get knocks, do we? Where's Thiago? Picked up a knock. You know, these players. The only miraculous recovery we have is Henderson. There, he was injured last week. He's with England now. Know what I mean? Whilst anyone else who gets injured for us is out for like weeks, months.
But so is he as well, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You know, over the years, he's been out for months, and people.
But don't you think we're over careful with them? Don't you think we're over careful with them, bringing them back?
Don't know really.
Well, we've played 5 years of non-stop top-level football, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
So it's bound to take its toll on the players. If you're going at the pace Klopp wants you to play football, it's bound to take the toll on you.
That's what I said last week, Nick. No team could keep that up. No team could keep that up.
See, when we were at our peak a few years ago, we didn't really get injuries. Wijnaldum played every week. So did Fabinho and Henderson.
When we were at our peak, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, we should have added to the team. We should have added players to the team. Yeah. So we wouldn't have these problems now, where we're having now all these injuries. City don't have the problems because they've got 2 squads.
But that's what makes you think about Mo Salah. Mo Salah is incredible. He's never out the team. He's never injured. And the stick he gets, and he's never injured.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
See what?
Andy,
Has anyone got the telly on there?
No.
And drove them to become runners up at the UEFA Champions League competition.
Nick, turn your telly off.
Have you got your telly on me?
no.
It's gone off now.
Have you got?
Someone out about Champions League.
Frank, it's yours.
Anyway, Stephen Snape says, you sometimes wonder what psychological damage given Salah as big contract has created. There must be envy amongst the others when Klopp obvious loyalty to others overrides his objectivity.
So you're saying don't give Salah another contract?
Yeah. Well, the big contract that he got.
Imagine, I mean,
I can't
Sadio,
see
He's
anyone
got goal
being
season, man. He's our leading goal scorer for the last 5 seasons. Surely he gets a contract.
because most of us were saying give him what he wants, weren't we? To be fair, like,
Yeah.
and we did, and it's not even break. He could have gone elsewhere. He could have gone to City and doubled his money.
He can still go. He can still get sold this summer.
Yeah, he could do. I mean,
I mean, we give him a bumper contract. He can still get sold on.
that's to lead on to something else, really. If we're talking about not being able to be in the market for the likes of Bellingham, then maybe we can, maybe they will sell.
It's George.
Yeah. Hi, George.
You've got a special guest on tonight, George Scott. A book was written about him.
Oh, Frank, yeah. We've had a lot of trouble with the microphone and the camera and the internet, but we've got there, I think, in the end. I'm on my phone now. I couldn't get in on my iPad and I couldn't get in on the laptop, so you'll have to put up with me on the phone.
All right, George. Well, that's great. I was just introducing you there. I was giving you a great big welcome and everything else, and all the people were made up, and you just jumped in and said, "I'm only coming to say ta-ra."
Your man Jason's been a wonder. He's a wizard in that internet. I'll tell you what, he really got us going.
Well, that's why he produces the show, George.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, George, I want everyone to know who you are, because Jeff Goulden had written a book about you, and it's called The Lost Shankly Boy. Am I right?
Yeah, well, I actually wrote the book, and Jeff actually
ghostwriter.
They used me as a wordsmith to put it into a proper readable format. He's an absolutely brilliant author, Jeff. He's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
We worked together. It was an absolute.
So listen, Shankly. Now, Shankly, as we say, as Michael Carter says, as Tommy Batty says, as Ian Golder says, and as I say, it was Shankly who built the foundations of. He's gone.
Yeah. Go on, carry on. Carry on.
He's. He built the foundations of what we witnessed today and what we've witnessed right through from 1960.
Yeah.
Right to the present day now, and what we're all moaning about. But I'm just going to ask George, what was it like? How did the Shanks approach you, or was you already at Liverpool?
No, I was a young boy, 15. I was in Aberdeen playing for Aberdeen schools and Scotland schoolboys, and they put the scouts out as they do. And I'd signed for Aberdeen, my local team, because that's all I ever wanted to do. Like, if you come from Liverpool, you want to sign for Liverpool or Everton, mainly Liverpool, I would imagine. But in Aberdeen, all I wanted to do was play for them. So they offered me a contract, £6 a week. Hard to believe, isn't it? £6 a week.
Crazy.
And the caretaker at our school was a scout for Liverpool. And he asked me to come down to Anfield. I was only 15. And it's about 365 miles from Aberdeen to Liverpool. And I decided to come down just for the fun of it, really, for a week's trial. Didn't really have too much intention of signing. I didn't even know really where Liverpool was. In fact, that's one of the things in the book, because when I met Shankly, I said, I can't really sign for you, Bill, because, well, I didn't call him Bill, called him Mr. Shankly at the time. And he said, I can't sign for you because I've promised Aberdeen that I would sign for them. And I've enjoyed the trial, because we had a week's trial, me and Gordon Wallace. And we both were very successful in the trial. Yeah, we both scored goals, and it was they wanted to sign both of us. And so when I went into Shanks' office, he wanted to sign me for £7.50 a week. And he said to me, "We want you, son. We want you to come here." And as I said, "Well, I can't." I said, "My grandmother doesn't even know where Liverpool is." And Shankly said to me, "You tell us, son. Liverpool Football Club are in the 2nd division of the English Football League, but we'll be in the 1st division next year. Soon, everybody will know where Liverpool is." That's exactly what he said to me. So my mind was made up. So I decided in my heart that I would come to Liverpool, even though it was such a long way away and I was such a young boy.
Yeah, because that would have been a big, as you said, a long way. It would have been a big move away from your family in them days, wouldn't it?
Well, it was, Ian, yeah, because, we didn't know where we were coming into. But, you follow your dream. I mean, I didn't really know where Liverpool was. I knew that Bill Shankly was there because he'd signed Dennis Law to Huddersfield Town. And they had a star. And Dennis was from Aberdeen, where he played about three years before me in the boys' club that I played in. So I wanted to follow Dennis because he always was my idol, still is. Yeah. And even though he played for Manchester United. And so that's what I wanted to do. So that's the only reason I came, because of Shankly. And
well, do you know when you were, George, do you know when you were at Liverpool, as a young boy, and, you're looking around and everything else, one of my first idols, and these won't know him, I'm telling you, these will not know this fella. And I'll never forget, he wore a number 10, and I'm just wondering if you'd ever heard of him or even seen him. And he was a Scottish lad as well. And I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I was a kid, I was a little kid, and I used to just look at him, And his name was Jimmy Harrower.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah. Of course, I knew Jimmy. Yeah, I knew Jimmy really well, yeah. He was a good player, Jimmy, a very talented player. He was a bit of a fiery character. Yeah. He didn't take prisoners, but he was very skillful also. And he was one of the boys that Shankly let go. I mean, I've got a photograph of the squad that when I first signed at Anfield, and within a year, 19 of them had gone. I mean, Jimmy was one of the lads that he moved on. And they started with the Tommy Lawrence, Ian St. John, Ron Yates, Peter, my friend Peter, and Carlyle and all them, So, I mean, he was a great player, Jimmy, Frank. Yeah, I remember him well.
Because as I remember him, always in the boys' pen. I was always in the boys' pen. I was with Ash Stevie. Ash Stevie was a lot older, but not a lot older. He was only like 4 years older than me. And I used to watch him, and I used to go home, and I used to try and draw him, because in the Echo at that time, Tommy should remember this, in the Echo at the time when we were kids and whatever, you never had photographs. You had drawings of the players.
Yeah.
And I used to
one of the things I do in my book, Frank, is I draw a picture of Anfield as it was then, and I take the reader through the stadium, into the dressing rooms, into the boot room, onto the pitch, and it's had a fantastic reaction, the book, really, all over the world. I mean, I was in hospital last year. In fact, in the last couple of years, I've had a couple of health issues. I had a cancer operation on my head. You can probably see there's a little bit of a hole in my head. And then I had a 5-way heart bypass at Broad Green. On the same month the book was published, and I had over 1,000 messages that came into Broad Green when I was having that operation. And then last year, it was a year to this week, actually, a year from now, I got bacterial double pneumonia, and they gave me 12 hours to live. And my wife came in with my sons to say goodbye, and they said I had to sign a do not resuscitate order. And now here I am today, and I'm walking 10,000 steps a day, playing golf 3 times a week. And I give the credit for that to the nurses, the consultants, and all these wonderful NHS people that really never gave up on me. And to Bill Shankly, because he instilled in me the fighting spirit that he used to say to us, never give up, son, ever. Never, ever give up. And it stuck with me all my life, that type of thing. The things he used to say, like natural enthusiasm, the greatest thing in the world. Nothing like it, He was just inspirational.
Didn't he used to say as well before he went out, because we got to know Ian St. John very well, didn't we, Tommy and everyone else?
Yeah.
And he used to say to them, you're playing for them, son.
That's
You're
right,
playing for
yeah.
them. And that's
Used to
what he
say
used to say. You know, about, did you like the accent?
I was going to say something. I thought I'm saying nothing about the accent there.
I didn't know. I didn't know
Yeah,
he was
you
Welsh.
said it, Frank. He used to say, yeah, you're playing for
George
the
will give
boys
you
in
the
the
better.
factories, the boys in the docks, working the clips, working. This is their place. They come here to worship you. Don't let them down. All that stuff, you know. He was a wordsmith. Absolutely unbelievable, you know. Even now, all these years later,
George, you know, we will talk about, you know, the Shanks and everything else, but I want your take on this. Because what you've just brought into insight there is, or highlighted, is the motivation by Shankly himself. He was a great motivator. Can you see any motivation today in the present Liverpool side?
Well, you know, to be honest, I'm a great admirer of Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah,
I mean,
we all are.
What he's done for Liverpool in the last 7 years is quite incredible. We're going through a tough time at the moment. I mean, I watched a few of your shows. I know there's a bit of frustration in the fans, and quite rightly so, because after last year, and in fact, after the last 6 years, it's been a bit of a come down this year. But I mean, Klopp's done an amazing job, and I think like he's very, very similar to Shankly in many ways. I mean, he speaks with a different accent, of course, but he is a similar sort of character. He understands what Liverpool's all about. He understands, I think anyway, what the fans are all about. But motivation, it's a different game, Frank, than it was when I played. Completely, you know. I mean, you look at some of the antics going on the pitch now. It's hard to, like at Fulham and Man United the other day, all the, you know, the sort of attacking the referee and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And the internet, of course, today has had a huge effect on football.
See, I think
we didn't have that in my day.
Do you think with obviously the difference between Shanks and Jurgen, the players they're managing as well, isn't it? It's that, you know, the public, the profile of them as well, the wages and everything, you know. So it must be hard. It must be a different job in that way to motivate.
The wages, when I joined, the 1st of May 1960, I found a wage bill, and it's been on the internet a few times, but I remember seeing it for the first time, £517, you know, the whole squad. Yeah. I mean, it's a different world, really, to be honest. But yeah, I think like Shankly built the team through the centre when he brought in Big Ronnie, Yates, the captain, you know, and Tommy Lawrence, and then Ian up front, Ian St. John and Roger Hunt, and of course the wingers, Carlyle and Thompson. So Klopp's done a similar thing, I think, because he got Alisson, goalkeeper, key position, big Van Dijk, centre half. Then you got up front, you got Mane as it was, and then you got Firmino like St. John, you know. And the wingers, like it's a bit different today. You've got them overlapping, Trent and you know, and Robbo coming down the wings, but playing wide. So it's not a dissimilar system, really, man. And the other thing Shankly used to say was that keep hold of the ball, don't lose possession, and if you do, get it back. And that's the high
very
press.
similar now. That's called pressing.
He was doing the high press even then, yeah.
I think the difference with Shanks and Klopp, Shanks had his favourite players. Klopp's got his favourite players. But Shanks wasn't scared to let them go.
No, exactly. After the Watford
he wasn't scared to let them go.
Do you think we're a bit sentimental at the moment, George?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think there comes a time, I think, in every team when it starts to just lose its luster. And we've had an amazing time, really, with Salah, Firmino, Mane, and those boys, and then Henderson and all them. And they're all coming to a stage now when, you know, questions are being asked about their, you know, I mean, they're all fantastic legends and always will be. And what they've done for the club's been incredible. But there comes a time when you have to start looking towards the future a bit more, maybe.
I remember when players were approaching 30, George, and I think you would as well, that likes of Ronnie Moran and Roy Evans and Joe Fagan would start looking at these players and start replacing them and bringing players in.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, don't forget those days when you got to 30, a lot of the boys like myself had left school at 15, so we had nothing to fall back on. We had no huge wages, and you couldn't retire at 30 nowadays. You had another 50 years to work. So it's a different thing. Now, these boys now in the 20s could probably retire.
George, do you think Klopp obviously he created that first great team that he created, that he built. And as you said, in a way, he built it because none of the players were actually world class when they come to us, were they?
No, no.
Do you think he's got it in him to do it again? Do you think he can do it again with this contract he signed?
I think he can. I think he can if the board, if the FSG support him.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not a very level playing field at the moment. If you look at Chelsea, they spent 600 million in 2 months.
Yeah.
Man City has spent a fortune. They're run by a country. You know, so is Chelsea. Money's just ridiculous. Liverpool's not even. We should be able to do that because what we've generated in income with the European Cups that we've won and the FA Cups we've won, the League Championships has won or nearly won. We should be in a position to compete with anybody.
You see, the excuse with the income at the moment, or the reasoning behind it, is that our wage bill is something like 70% of the of that income, isn't it? So, but my thing here, well, every other club's got a high wage bill, haven't they? The big clubs have got, and ours was all. Our wage bill was also success centres. So it's centralised, can't say the word. You know what I mean? It was because we were so successful that our wage bill was so high. So you'd expect that to drop as well, to have dropped. I mean, we still won 2 trophies last season, so the bonuses are still going to be there for that, aren't they? Obviously, this season.
I know you can't use it as an excuse, really, but we have had some horrible injuries to key players.
Oh,
I mean, we lost Mane because he wanted to go, to be fair, I would imagine. But, I mean, Diaz was looking fantastic. He was looking world class.
Yeah.
The spell there where he could do no wrong, and he gets injured. Jota got injured. Firmino's been injured. Henderson's been injured. You know, Van Dijk was out for weeks. You know, and the key players in a team, and I don't think any team can. There was one game we played, I remember, against Wolves, I think. There was about 10, 11 key players out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they get injured so much. One of my problems at Anfield, I only made 3 first-team appearances, and they were in cup matches. And I couldn't get in the league team. And I played 138 games in the Central League team, scored 28 goals. I was the leading goal scorer and the most appearances in the whole club over 3 years. And I couldn't get in the league because nobody got injured and there was no substitute.
Yeah.
And then
the substitute rule only came out in 1966. And I was in the squad for the cup final, which was amazing. But, you know, I wanted to get in the team. But I had to get Roger Hunt out or Ian St. John. Peter Thompson.
In them days, though. In them days, the Central League team was just as good as the first team.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, at Central League, see, we used to play all the games at the big stadiums like Newcastle and Old Trafford. And when we played there, they came to Anfield. So we got the experience of playing the big pitches against some really big players who were on the way down and talented players who were on the way up. So it was a great school, the Central League. It's such a shame now. They don't have that now.
I love going to them games as a kid.
I just wish there were substitutes because I would have had quite a few games in a big team if we had substitutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame, really. But, I mean, Shankly sold me to Aberdeen for £12,000. A lot of money in those days. I mean, I remember I bought a brand new Mini for 530 quid. with a signing on fee.
George, going back to the transfers, I don't know if you know, I'm not an FSG lover at the moment. I've never liked them for the last 10 years. But I know all these clubs go out and spend 300, 400 million a season. I'm not expecting us to do that. All I'm expecting the owners to do is to buy a player in a certain position, one marquee signing a season in a certain position to keep us up there with the best teams in the league. And they're not doing it at the moment. That's my gripe with the owners.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a valid gripe, actually, to be fair. I mean, they don't seem to be doing it at the moment. They're a bit quiet on the transfer front. I mean, we didn't do much in the last transfer window, did we? It will depend what happens in the summer, really. But I think this season, to some extent, I wouldn't say it's a bit of a write-off because I wouldn't write us off from being in the top 4. There's a long way to go yet still. But next 3 games are going to be big games, really, for us.
Yeah.
The City, Chelsea and Arsenal. I mean, if you get anything out of that, if you can get 5 points even, I mean, and then get cracking in the last games of the season, we never know. We could still get that.
But the thing is, George, if we win our 2 games in hand, we're still a point behind Spurs.
Yeah, but a point. Yeah, we are. But that's a point nothing, is it? I mean, between now and the end of the season, that can easily.
No, but that's if they lose. We have to rely on other teams to lose that.
Yeah, well, that's the position we're in, sadly, at the moment because
Liverpool
of
are
the
hot and cold at the
season.
moment for me, aren't they? Tottenham.
They are, yeah, but still, we've got to rely on somebody else, which is out of our hands.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to try and keep winning. But see, when you get results like Bournemouth, it doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
Oh no.
You go and beat
no.
United
Well, that was some
7-0.
come down that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all on
See,
a
look-
high. Everybody's on a high, you know, and then they go and lose that. It's unbelievable.
Looking at the United game there, George, you just touched on. I seen the shoots or something there. I think we all did. Seen the shoots or something there where you think, you know what, it's got the basis there to be a good team again, to be a great team again. I think we've seen for the first time. I think we've seen Gakpo and Nunes playing well in the same game together. And as you mentioned, Diaz there to come in as well. And I'm thinking, you know what, if we do get the legs, I've always said on here, it's about 6 legs in midfield. It doesn't matter who they are, what their name is. It's like 6 legs doing the job that is needed to make the rest, to let the rest of the team do what
Well,
work.
you're right, Ian. It's a big ask for the youngsters to do what they've been doing. They've been doing pretty well. Harvey Elliott and like you, Frank, I can't pronounce the young boy's name.
Bacic.
Call him
Kingy.
But to have them 2 boys in the team, it's a big ask, isn't it? I mean, you know, really, they need time to develop as well and get maybe in and out a bit. Need some more, as you said, power in midfield.
Well, I know a lad over in Belfast. His son plays for Cliftonville, and I mentioned this last week. He's 17 years of age, and he's got Newcastle looking at him, West Ham, Celtic, and he can play left back, right back, midfield, and attack. I'm like scratching my head here why like Liverpool aren't in for him. He'd be a good replacement for the left back or right back positions.
Yeah,
that team. And he's 17 and he's ripping the league apart at the moment. But he's injured. He's picked an injury up last week, but he's ripping the league apart. You want to see him play football? It's unbelievable.
Well, that's when Liverpool need the scouts to be there picking these boys up. We've got this young lad, Ben Doak. He seems a good prospect for the future as well. You know, he's only 17. So we have got the players there for the future, but we need to get some big stars in. We need to get the Bellinghams in, somebody like that.
Yeah.
A marquee
Well, to
player.
be honest, George, you mentioned about getting the scouting people in, you know, doing a proper job. And one of the best scouts ever for Liverpool, and you must have known this fella, was Jeff Twentyman.
Yeah.
One of the greatest of all scouts he was.
Well, my English teacher back in back home, he found Michael Owen.
Yeah. He got some great talented players in, Jeff. I mean, you need somebody that knows the game that can. Then you need the club to back him up. But I still think we need to be able to spend a bit of money, because you know, when you look back at the Liverpool teams, you had players like Gerrard, Mascherano, Alonso, all them guys. They were coming through from midfield and scoring goals or creating goals. We don't seem to have that at the moment. The midfield players seem to go left and right and square a bit. And nobody, apart from Thiago, when Thiago's fit, that killer pass, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, George, we've actually, you know, the lads you just mentioned there, Alonso, Stevie Gerrard and Mascherano, we've mentioned them in the past. We said, haven't we? Just imagine having them in midfield now.
Yes.
We would, you know, today in this team, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Right.
And it just shows you the demise, the decline, fall from grace, if you like, of the midfield. And I don't think it can be fixed. This present midfield, it cannot be, it can't be fixed, no matter how hard we try.
I think, as George was saying, I think we need that. If we get Bellingham in and get someone in, say, between 24 and 27, so that, you know, that middle age, that peak age.
In my opinion, we have to sign Bellingham.
Well, if the owners go out and sign Bellingham for 130 million, surely they'll get that back in shirt sales.
Yeah,
The
of
shirts
course they
will be
will.
flying off the shelves. They'll get that back.
Yeah.
So what are they
Totally
scared
agree
of
with you,
spending
man.
that money?
But we need Bellingham. I don't care
Yeah,
who we sign. We need to sign him.
Yeah, but the point is,
Well,
if we get Bellingham, don't forget Liverpool are given a measly budget every summer, aren't we? Right, a measly budget, and if we spend all that money on one player, it's not going to solve the problem.
No,
No.
but all the Karen fodder we can get rid of, we can buy another 2 with that.
See, it's not just about the fee, is it? It's about the length of the contract and the wages. It's like it's a whole package, isn't it?
yeah.
You know,
Well, Ian, you look at the sell to buy policy we've got, right? You selling one player from another position, and you're fixing with another. You're never fixing the team. You're always creating problems in the team. You're not fixing it. So you're selling one problem and you're causing another problem.
Well, that's a good point, Mick, because when you actually look at the midfield, and Gini Wijnaldum went, we never replaced him.
No.
And we've only bought one player in
him.
4 years, and that was Thiago in midfield. When I knew, Tommy would tell you, Ian, that they're aging. We need 2 midfielders. And I said this at the beginning of the season. I wanted 1 the season before, and I wanted 2 this season.
Well, didn't Sacco play for us?
Sorry?
Didn't Sacco play for us at Arsenal?
Sacco.
No, that was the other Sacco, wasn't it? He went to Crystal Palace from here.
Did he go? I thought it was
He was a fullback.
No, might be their kids. Might be their kids.
Yeah, you're thinking of the centre half, I think.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what as well. These players that have left Liverpool, I can't think of anybody that's left Liverpool have done better elsewhere.
No.
Suarez.
I'm really struggling to find any. I mean,
Suarez,
we were talking about
George.
this the other day. There's not many that's gone from Liverpool and did better than they did at Liverpool.
Yeah, Suarez done well at Barcelona, didn't he? But that was
Suarez, but nobody else.
What about
Sadio's
doing okay at Bayern, isn't he? Probably, but if he's doing better, I don't know.
Yeah, because I read something, and it wasn't just like about Liverpool or whatever, and it was in their bills or something, their newspaper, Zeitung or whatever it's called, and they said that the best buy of the season is Sadio Mane.
I wouldn't be.
It wasn't just about buying or Liverpool or Sadio Mane. It was just like a thing. They were talking about footballers, and I said that the best buy, without a shadow of a doubt, is Sadio Mane for buying.
Because he just come from the Premiership. It's the hardest league in the world to go into the Bundesliga. And he's a revelation there. Because I'm not saying it's easier, but the Premier League is the hardest league to win in the world.
It is. But Mane's a fantastic player, though. I mean, we miss him greatly. We really miss him. He had that sort of, he ran into the spaces and put the ball away. I remember the Man City at Wembley. He scored down 2 goals. He went diving in, and then he scored it.
Do you remember that goal he scored against Bayern Munich?
That was the
goal.
When he turned Neuer,
but again, when we signed him, I don't think anyone expected him to be the player he turned out to be, and that's down to Jurgen again, isn't it?
Well, it was that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
he wasn't doing that great at Southampton, was he?
He was doing.
Salah wasn't doing great at Chelsea.
At Roma,
no,
at Chelsea, and then. I mean, I was in Rome with my son in the summer we were signing Salah, and I remember it was in the news, and I just remember saying to my son, "It's not half dragging that," and he wasn't even that great at Chelsea, and so I wasn't thinking we were signing some world star when Salah was coming in, and look how that turned out. It's like
we were after him, Ian, before he signed for Chelsea.
Yeah, he was with Ball, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I always find it hard when Salah gets criticised. You see online sometimes people criticising Salah for getting too much money or he's not playing well. I mean, what that lad's done for Liverpool is he's beat Robbie Fowler's record with about 60 games to spare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put into perspective what he's achieved at Anfield is incredible.
He's unbelievable. Unbelievable
He's-
player.
He's got
He's
to be
not
one of
getting
the
the
greatest
service, is he,
players we've
this
had.
season?
At his best, I'd put him second to Messi in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
You
not
know, I
getting the
mean,
service, is he? From the
No.
midfield.
No,
So
no.
if he was at Man City at the moment, he'd be scoring as many goals as Haaland.
Yeah.
That's
It
another
shows
one.
you,
They
it
got
shows
him
you
for
how
55
fickle,
million.
though, George and everybody else. It shows you how fickle Liverpool fans are on the social network scene, because
Some of them are.
you know you're getting them saying sell Salah, you know, after the Bournemouth game, and they all jumped on his back. Yeah, a week before they were all praising him, you know, as a god or whatever, and
Yeah.
all praising him. They were praising everybody. The following week they sell them all, and this
And
is
he
how
never gets injured. He never gets injured.
No, he
No,
plays every
never.
game. He's always available.
I'll tell you
It's,
what.
I just want to read a comment out, and think it's something to do with. I think it's a good comment actually, and it's from Soulboy Fran. He says, "Do you think we played too many pre-season games? City only played 2 when we played them in the Community Shield."
We only do what we normally do, don't we? These Far East tours, and it's what we've always done. It's what other clubs always do. I don't know. I don't really
but
know
don't
what.
forget, last season we played every single game we possibly could.
Yeah, yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
I mean, we played 60 odd games, you know, and and then it was a very short pre-season as well, because of the World Cup. So
And
the
also,
players-
Klopp does use a small squad, doesn't he, as well? A small, you know, apart from his first 11, he doesn't like, you know. So it was them same players playing quite a lot of football last season.
yeah,
But yeah, it was probably a bit ill-advised, I suppose. But I just looked on it at the time, thinking, you know, it's what we do. It's what the club always does, and a lot
Yeah,
of
but
other clubs.
you ask the pros, but you'd rather train or play. You'd rather
oh,
play
they'd rather
than
play,
train.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
when
yeah.
we
Yeah.
play 2 games a week, and
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
play on a Saturday, muddy pitches
Yeah.
and all the rest. We play on a Saturday. If we won, Shanks would give us the Monday off, and then we'd play maybe on a Wednesday in a cup match or a midweek game, and then you'd train. But
Yeah.
it was all the playing with the ball. Footballers want to play; they want to run around with the ball.
Yeah.
But these days it's so technical. I went to Melwood with Gordon Wallace the year or 2 ago. I was blown away with it, because when I was there, there was a cricket pavilion and 4 pitches, and
Yeah.
Shankly had the big pitch laid out like Wembley, and he wouldn't let anybody go on it unless you had 6 caps. You know,
George,
but now they've got table tennis, table squash, plunge pools, rooms with computers where people are working on computer. I said, "What's he got computer for? Playing football?" "Oh no, this is to work out the angles and do the throw-in coach. They got a throw-in coach."
George, do you remember the magic sponge and bucket?
Oh, aye. We had Ruben Bennett was our trainer. Ruben was Sergeant Major, you know, and Ruben used to say to us in Scotland, when he played in Scotland, he said, we played on cinder pitches, son. He said, we didn't have a bloody magic sponge. He said, we had a wire brush. The trainer ran on with a wired brush to brush the scab off your leg. You got to quick.
I used to play for a fella back home in the Sunday leagues, and he'd come on with the sponge and bucket, and the people 8 cans of lager in with the sponge and buckets.
No, Frank, I tell a story about. Do you remember Alf Smith?
Oh yeah, Ralph, yeah.
And sadly, no longer with us.
Number 9. Yeah.
A great goal scorer. You know, I played many games with him in the Central League. And Alf was a lovely lad, wonderful lad. And he came in the first team in place of Ian St. John against Sunderland. Ian was injured. And this game was going on, and Tommy Lawrence bounced the ball up at the Anfield Road end. He booted it high into the sky, and Sunderland had a centre-half called Charlie Hurley. Centre-half, yeah. And he jumped up with Alfie in front of the players' tunnel. And they clashed heads, and they both went down in the mud. And Shanks was getting all agitated because there was no substitutes. It was just before half-time. Hurley had got up and ran away, and Alfie was still on the ground. He was motionless on the ground. And Shanks was saying to Bob, Is he going to be okay, Bob? Is the boy going to be okay? And Bob was giving him smelling salts and everything. He turns round to Shankly and he said, he doesn't know who he is, boss. And Shankly says, tell him he's Pilly. It was a true story as well. That's what Shankly's humour was like. No, he's a wonderful, wonderful lad.
Yeah.
I'm still in touch with his daughters now.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
No, Shanks was one alone. You'll never get another one of him. I'll tell you now. Never.
No, you'll never get another one of the great Shanks. I was going through Lime Street. I'll tell you how old I was. I was 16 years of age. And Leicester were our bogey side at the time. And we were always getting postponed. Right. We were playing them at Filbert Street, and their grounds, well, the pitch was awful. It was just a mud flat. And I was always getting postponed, this particular cup tie it was. And I was walking through, and there's Shankly sitting on this bench, in Lime Street Station. And I went up to him, and I went, hello, Bill. And he went, hello, son. And, and I just sat down by him. I was only there for no more than 4 minutes, just talking to him. And I said about Leicester and about Filbert Street, being
Andy Lockhead.
And he said, I said, what are you doing? I thought he was going to say he's waiting for the players. And he says, I'm waiting for the pitch to dry out. And Filbert Street. It's incredible.
It was a mud bath, Filbert Street. I remember I almost made my debut in the league at Filbert Street because I was 12th man. You used to carry the skip, You were 12th man. Like the only way you'd get on is if somebody got injured or sick. And we were I was 12th man that week, and we were going to Filbert Street, and we stopped at the Lim Hotel for lunch. And during the lunch, Roger Hunt felt a bit sick. He felt a little bit nauseous. And Bob Pearson came up to me and says, you might be on, son. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get my debut. But Roger recovered, unfortunately, and I didn't get on. And they lost 3-1. Davy Gibson, I remember, scored a couple. But I remember the pitch. Yeah. I was sat in the dugout with Shanks and the pitch was like an actual ploughed field. It was really muddy. They were our bogey team. They're not. Remember the FA Cup 1-0. Stringfellow scored.
Yeah, Stringfellow.
Like
the big
Stringfellow, yeah.
Would that have been 68, 69, 68?
No, before that.
Was it?
I was there then, so it was 64, I think. So
because I know
the year before we won the cup, I think.
Yeah,
I know we got knocked out the FA Cup by Leicester.
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's it.
But me dad,
Andy Lockhead was our bogey man. Remember him, Andy Lockhead, big baldy
big Andy.
Yeah.
We played the final of the Lancashire Senior Cup at Burnley, and he was playing Andy Lockhead.
Yeah.
He always played great against us. I was just saying to Ian there, you mentioned Andy Lockhead, Tommy. And I just said some of the players for Leicester were awful, but when he plays against us, they were well.
No, David
they
Gibson.
were absolutely brilliant against us, and goalkeepers. George, you must remember goalkeepers. I always remember. I was in the cup, and this is when Ronnie Moran was playing for us.
Yeah,
we were playing Swansea. And we got beat 3-1 or something like that. And Ronnie Moran missed a penalty. But their goalkeeper that day was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
He was just amazing. And the cup's given, well, they were all standing anyway. But if it would have been seated, he would have got a standing ovation. They didn't have applause him going off because we were kicking into the cup.
But Gordon Banks played for Leicester, didn't he?
Yeah.
Gordon Banks was Leicester's
goalkeeper. The greatest of all keepers, him.
I remember another great keeper for Burnley. Remember Colin Withers?
Yeah, Adam Blacklow.
The Burnley keeper. He always played well at Anfield for some reason.
Adam Blacklow, yeah.
He was from Aberdeen, Adam Blacklow.
Yeah.
It's funny, we played in the FA Youth Cup final in 1963 against West Ham United, and we we won the first leg at Anfield, 3-1. And I hit the crossbar in the last minute at the cup end, would have been 4-1. And it was 20,000 there. It was really well supported. First time Liverpool being in the FA Youth Cup final. We went down to West Ham the next week at Upton Park, and we scored first. We're up 4-1. And we ended up losing. Aggregate 6-5 with a last-minute goal from a cross by Harry Redknapp. He was 17.
Go away.
And Shankly was incandescent because the referee was a lad called Jack Taylor, who he was a butcher.
Oh, yeah.
And he went on to referee the World Cup final.
The World Cup final.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next time at Anfield, we played at Anfield. Well, Tommy was in the first team, Tommy Smith, because he was captain of our youth team. And when he went on to play against, I think it was Man City or somebody, Taylor was the referee. And Tommy came up the tunnel and he went up to Taylor before the start of the game, turned round and said, "Smith, number 4." He was anticipating being booked. And I'll tell you another thing as well. In the first leg at Anfield, this is a funny one. John Sissons was on the left wing, who was a really good player for West Ham, young lad. On the opposite wing to Redknapp, he was a bit of a flyer. And Shankly said, "You couldn't do this today." Shankly said to Tommy, he said, "I want him in the bandbox in the first 10 minutes, son." And Sissons limped off. He limped off after, Tommy missed it by 5 minutes. He limped off after 15 minutes, pointing to Smithy and saying to John Lyle, psycho. And he missed the second leg. But I mean, you know, they still beat us. But even today, I'm really gutted about that result. You know, I've got the medal, the big medal in the other room there. You know, runners up means nothing.
No.
So close to winning it. FA Youth Cup for Liverpool, you know, 1963. And Shankly took us all to the Riviera.
Who actually said that quote, George? Was it Paisley or Shankly winning his first, second is nothing?
Yeah, first is first, second is last. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to say, you've only got to be a nose ahead to win the race, son.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so yeah, it was just, honestly, Frankie was amazing. I remember once we were playing 5-a-sides at Melwood. I was only about 16, and had a good head of hair then. And I remember we used to play against the staff, Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, Ruben, and all them. Me and Gordon Wallace and Bobby Graham, Tommy Smith and Chris Lawler. We had these great 5-a-sides for a few years, you know, it was great. And I remember this day, it was a bit wet, and they got 2 cricket stumps for goals at one end. And Shankly hit this ball over the top of our heads. It was going towards the goal. And I ran, just got there, and I slid along the ground, tapped it out with my feet, other side of the post, and I'm lying there exhausted, and this figure comes up behind me. It's Shankly, rubs his hand in my head, he goes, "See what happens when you never give up, son. See what happens when you never give up." And that was really, I mean, for a young lad like me, really,
I thought you were going to say that was in. He said that was in.
No.
It's a goal.
Yeah. Well, that's another story about Chris Lawler. I mean, that's a long, you know, playing 5-a-sides, and Shanks accused them of telling a lie. You know, you probably have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there were some great stories. I mean, to be honest, I do some after dinner talks for charity.
Yeah.
I've raised about 20,000 now for blood cancer. You know, because my wife had blood cancer, grade 3 lymphoma, 2009. So I decided that she recovered and she's in remission, still good now. 14 years later, she's still here, doing well. So I do these talks about Shanks, you know, and do them to Rotary clubs, golf clubs, and that. Usually pick up a fair bit of money for the charity, you know. So the stories always go down well, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's you know, when you think of Shankly, as I said, George, he built the foundations. And then when Paisley took over, it was Paisley who reaped, in my opinion, the foundations.
Yes.
With what he achieved. And to achieve 3 European Cups in 9 seasons, he became the first manager. Yeah, but he became the first manager to win 3 European Cups with the one club.
It's incredible.
First, you know, so this is what you have. Now, if we leap forward to now, I think Klopp might be a little controversial here, but if Klopp was given the investment he literally deserved, I think he would have won more than one title and more than one European Cup, Champions League. That's what I think.
I think
If
as
he would have been
That's
given
probably
proper
right, Tom.
investment.
touching on it before, though, I think that the competition now is like it's just an unfair competition, isn't it? I think back in them days, you built your teams, and yet you got the best players on reputation, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So, like,
don't forget, in them days, if you got beat, you were out.
That's
yeah.
right.
You can
That's
get
right, Tom,
you can get beat twice now and still win it.
No second
Yeah.
chance. European Cup as well. European Cup was
Right.
Yeah.
When it was
actually
the hardest
European.
to win. When it was the hardest to win.
You had to
But
be champions.
Bob Paisley was an amazing character because he was not charismatic. He was funny. He had a great sense of humor, but no, he wasn't. Shanks was like, the front man. Bob was fantastic, not only at coaching, but in physiotherapy and stuff. He knew every injury. He knew how to treat. He had his wonderful machines he got in. And even playing five-a-sides, his cartilage used to come out and he'd put it back in when he was playing. He'd stop and he'd pop it back in. He ran with a limp all the time. Incredible characters these guys were, Yeah, but Joe Fagan as well. They were all on you. I think Liverpool were lucky that Shankly kept them. When he came, he kept Bob and he kept Joe and he kept Ruben and Ronnie.
The
and
famous Ruben.
As you say, the carved the dynasty. As Jeff Goulding says to me, and he's right, Jeff, before Shankly, they'd won about 6 or 7 trophies, Liverpool. After Shankly, they've won 46.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see where
George,
That's what I think Jürgen Klopp.
Sorry, Tommy, go on.
Go on, mate. Go on, mate. Go on.
Do you find Joe Fagan doesn't get mentioned enough for what he done in Liverpool?
I didn't catch that.
Do you find Joe Fagan doesn't get mentioned enough for what he done at Liverpool for that season when he won the treble?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. Well, Joe was my main man because when I played in the Central League and I was scoring all them goals and making all those appearances, Joe was the manager of the Central League team. So I got a great relationship with Joe. He worked really hard for me to try and get me into the team, and he was pretty gutted at the end when I left Liverpool. When he told me not to worry. He said, "You'll do well, whatever you do, son." He said, Ronnie Moran made a statement to me when I was going out the door. He said, "Pele couldn't get in this team, son." So don't cry.
Neither could Alvaro Smith.
Neither could that. Well, Alf did play. He did play quite a few games, Alf, but there wasn't many people played other than that famous 11. Jeff Strong played
Bobby
a few
Gray.
games. Bobby
Gray.
He was a bit later, Bobby broke through. Around 1969-70, he played every single
I remember
game.
when he broke his leg against Chelsea at Anfield.
That's right, yeah.
Aye.
He's a great friend, Bobby. Sadly, he's not too well at the moment now, like a lot of the boys.
Yeah.
It's very sad. So many of the boys have succumbed to,
But get back to what you said about Shankly's backroom staff and Bob Paisley's backroom. I think that's where Jürgen's missing out because I think his backroom staff, I don't think they add up. That's my personal opinion.
It's hard even to know who they are. I mean, what is it?
Exactly.
Flinders.
There's that
He wrote
many
that
of
book,
them.
didn't he? He wrote the book about intensity.
Yeah,
Flinders,
yeah.
Do you honestly think that's affected this season, George? The Pep Linders book?
I don't think so, really. I don't really think so, to be honest.
No, I
it's
can't.
A bit of a red herring, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think. I think one of the problems is that.
But why write a book? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why you wrote it. You're right.
It's not very skint or anything.
No,
I've got it. I started reading it, and it does explain at the beginning what the thinking behind doing it was. It's someone said to him on the staff, we should write a book. We should document what's going on because we've been doing so well.
Yeah, but you write that book 5 years after you've left the club.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. 5 years, or when you retire.
Yeah, that would be more sensible.
That's like Ronnie Moran writing a book when we were at our pump in the 70s. That's giving our secrets away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You probably give away too many secrets. I'm not sure it would have made any difference. I think Liverpool, let's face it, we only lost that league by 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
10 minutes,
I remember, you must all remember, we were all sitting there thinking we've won it. And then bang, 3 goals in 10 minutes, I mean, against Villa. And that was 1 point in the same year before. Didn't we lose on goal difference or something?
Yeah.
Do you think Steven Gerrard coming back in the backroom staff would be a lift if he could ever come back under Klopp?
Who's that, Gerrard?
Gerrard, if he come back,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, let's face it. He's in a way, I suppose he made for Liverpool. I wasn't so sure he should have taken the Villa job because he did really well at Rangers, but it's a bit easier up there, I think, in a club like Rangers. And you go to Villa, which is basically a middle of the table team, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not really going to win the league. They're not really.
I think if he come back, maybe a year or 2 years before Jurgen goes, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, I think that would be brilliant.
And work under him.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Really would.
I don't think he should have took the Rangers job because he was only there. He would have been now Pep Linder. He would have been now a second man because Pep Linder's he got the sack by NEC. Then he went over to. I'm talking about Pep Linders.
Yeah.
Then he went over to Portugal, done something there, and then came to Liverpool, and he was like coaching the under 13s or someone like that. He just like these kids. That's what he was. And all of a sudden, he's a right-hand man. He's Klopp's right-hand man, and written a book and everything else. To me, Steven Gerrard. Again, people will disagree, but I think Steven Gerrard should be there. He should be there as one of the backroom staff sitting on the bench looking what's going on.
Yeah, and landing the ropes. Yeah, landing the ropes. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Carragher there, to be honest with you.
And Carragher, yeah.
Yeah, and Carragher as well.
Yeah, Pep Linders doesn't fill me with much confidence, to be honest with you.
No, no, it doesn't fill me either. And someone is saying now that if Klopp leaves, Pep will become the new manager. I hope not.
No.
I'd rather have Roy Hodgson back.
He's just taking the Crystal Palace job.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll go down the Gerrard line, to be honest with you. I don't think they'll do that. I think his Villa is the time of Villa. I think's tainted that a little bit. But I mean,
a lot depends what happens with the owners. Really, it depends if the owners stick around or if they sell the club. Because they've done. To be fair to the owners, I mean, we've won a lot under the compared to the Cowboys that were there before. I mean, at least they've taken the club forward over the last 6-7 years, built the new stand, built the Anfield Road, and it may be time for change,
Yeah, but George, the owners we've got now are no different than the Cowboys we had. These are a lot smarter. These know how to bring people on board. The JNOs, I won't go into it, the SOS and all that. They know how to bring people on board and keep people close to them. Yeah. That's the difference with these owners.
Yeah,
they're very, very good at PR.
Yeah.
These don't invest, George, properly. It's a sell-to-buy policy. And look at all the players that we've sold.
Yeah.
Top players I'm talking about.
Yes.
As Nick said before, a while back, they don't replace them.
Yeah.
They do not replace those positions. Now we've got loads of forwards. We've got our backs are okay, the spine of it's okay.
Yeah.
But the midfield has been neglected. And that's where the lack of investment. Go on.
I think the issue is, when we're doing well, that the opposition isn't there as much, is it? And now, obviously, we're not doing well. It's gaining momentum. It'll gain momentum the longer it goes on. And this summer is a crossroads for them for FSG, I think. And I just think if they don't do the business this summer, then we go into next season with a similar squad to what we've got now, I think that the pressure will grow on them. But I mean,
definitely.
I think like it's going to be It is going to be interesting what happens, but I think we're feeling it more now for this summer than we have in past windows.
But there's too much pressure, isn't it? Because Liverpool,
Yeah.
I mean, with the best fans in the world, there's no question about that. You know,
Yeah.
they're special, really special.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not a Scouser. I'm an adopted Scouser, but they are special. I mean, there's no other club like it anywhere. I don't think. You go away to these European games in the atmosphere. When we went to Athens, went to Istanbul, the history is unbelievable. There's no other club got that history, so they deserve the investment. FSG, what did they buy the club for? 300 million. It's worth 4 or 5 billion now.
Yeah. I
mean, so they've made a lot of money.
Suppose the argument there is if they've made that much money within the club, then they should be able to speculate to accumulate and get these players in the summer, isn't it?
The one player I don't want to leave Liverpool this season is Kelleher, the understudy to Alisson. He's our goalkeeper.
He's going to go. Yeah. He's going to go. I'm afraid.
He said he wants to go. And to be honest with you, I can see why. He's obviously a class player. He's not going to get in ahead of end.
Oh, he's a first-team player anyway.
Yeah. You have to go, don't you? I mean, even in my day, I had to go to Aberdeen because I was in the first team, but there was no gaps. It's the same now with some of the young players today, even like Origi and people like them. You know, legends of the club, but they couldn't get in, so they got to go and play somewhere. You don't want to be in the reserve. Even now, it's worse now because you haven't got a reserve team. You've basically got an under-18, under-23 team playing at Kirby or somewhere. You don't really, if you're not playing. Look at Oxlade-Chamberlain. When's the last time he played?
Yeah.
He's doesn't he?
You're going to get some players that'll just sit there on the contracts, aren't you? So
don't want to leave.
So good luck to the lad for me. I think he is going to move on. And good luck to him, really.
Well, Brian Edley says, here's something for you. Here's one for you, lads. Do you think Jürgen is afraid to move Trent into midfield in case it didn't work out? Because if it didn't, what would he then do? Would he drop him being a local lad? But I think he is dodging this decision to move him into midfield. That's what
I just think his whole system depends on the likes of Trent and Robbo. So what if you move Trent into midfield? What happens to that system with the fullback overlapping? Well, it's not,
All Trent needs is a midfielder to cover it.
I think Trent needs a good rest. Because he's been going hell for leather for the last 5 years. Solid. He needs a good rest.
Yeah.
Can I just read out a few comments here, Buzz?
Go ahead.
Soulboy France says, a question for George. Did you play with Alvaro Smith in the Central League?
He's asked.
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned it, didn't you?
Alf and I were vying for who scored the most goals. He scored 2 goals more than me in 3 seasons in the Central League. I must have played 50, 60 times with him. Because he played lots in the Central League. He didn't get too many breaks in the first team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I always remember? Alvaro Smith.
In 63.
So I'll tell you what I always remember about Alvaro Smith, George. Is he?
It's Teddy Boy.
Like a Teddy Boy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He signed from some young Tintrussel United or something. He was seen as a bit of a yokel from mid Lancashire, and he came into and everybody sort of, in a way, laughed at him because he was a bit over his own feet and everything. But he was really quick, and Alfie had the last laugh because he made his debut. I think he scored 4 against Derby County, if I remember, or in one of the early games, and he was great to play with. We went to Old Trafford, Central League. We beat Man United 5-2, and he scored 3. And they had some big players in their team: Albert Quixell, David Herd, Noel Cantwell, Jimmy Nicholson, Clifford Ireland, and Alfie was a smashing lad, and he was a great player as well. And it's very sad he died too young, really. The answer to the question, I did play a lot with Alfie, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll never forget. I don't think you'll remember this fella, but I was in there, as I said, you might think I am ancient.
I'll say it.
I
Yeah,
only
agree, yeah.
shut up. You. Anyway, I'll never forget this. And it was, do you ever remember big number 7, Louis Bimpson?
Yeah, that was just slightly before my time, late 50s. That was, Frank.
Yeah, well,
I think
all right, George. You don't have
he
to
left
say when the
60s.
decades was, you know what I mean? But anyway, I seen him going down the wing, right, and he had the ball, and he couldn't half move, but the ball went that much in front of him.
You
It
probably
was down to the Annie Rose end, you know. He went right past that and fell over it, threw it to the crowd. And all
you probably
just
remember
seeing
Fred Morris.
catching up, getting a leg up over on the pitch. Big Louis Bimpson, funny that.
Yeah.
But
He was
anyway,
never going to make it with Shanks.
Charlie Kane says, what was the story why Frank Worthington never signed for us, George?
Didn't he have? I'm not sure he had a problem with that, with his heart. Didn't he?
Heart
failed
problem, yeah.
He didn't pass the medical. That's
Yeah.
what it was,
Syphilis,
maybe it's just as well because I mean he was a bit of a wild lad, wasn't he?
Right.
Yeah, there was a story, wasn't it? There
Yeah.
was a story that he had.
a sexual
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether it was rumours or what.
Yeah, Shankly
Imagine.
didn't like it. I remember Shankly saying to Bobby Graham when he was there used to be a nightclub in West Walton Beck Road called the Wookie Hollow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the big stars used to come there, you know, and Bobby's in the Wookie Hollow one Thursday night. Shank found out about it. He pulls him in the office on Friday morning, and we were all wondering what the hell was going on. And Bobby came out. I said, "What did he say? What did he say?" He said, "Who the hell do you think you are, son? Errol Flynn." Catch you in there again, son. I'll dock your wages 2 weeks.
There was another name for Ukiolo, you know.
Oh, actually, he said he called it the
Mookie Wallow.
Hookie Wallow.
Yeah.
He
The
couldn't pronounce it.
Nukiolo used to be called.
We were okay on a Saturday night. We used to go down the Royal Tiger Club in Manchester Street. And Bill Gregson used to own it. He used to own home James coaches, Skemersdale United. And Bill used to stand at the door. And the only way you could get in is if you put your Liverpool blazer on, you know, and they'd let you in because always a queue to get in. And all the Everton boys went there as well. Roy Vernon and Dennis Stevens and Alex Scott and them, you know.
Really the boat?
Down in, it was in Manchester Street next to the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
used to
Premier
go
Inn now, I
there
think.
myself. Yeah, used to go there.
There's a travel lodge there, no?
Yeah,
That's
Shanks'
right.
bar.
Yeah.
Became
That was the
Shanks'
place.
bar.
Yeah.
Shanks didn't like that though. He didn't like us going there, you know.
No. Brian Edley says, should King Kenny should be besides Jürgen for the last of his contract?
I don't
don't
think
think
so.
The second man.
No.
I don't
No.
think so. No, I think it's gone past that.
He's done his job,
Kenny should
Kenny.
just stick to being what he is now, legend.
Yeah. We need to look a bit further than that. I love Kenny, like, don't put.
Yeah.
Who do you think
Yeah.
will be the next manager?
Of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't even think.
I don't want Klopp to go anywhere, to be honest.
No,
his
I
contract.
couldn't see past Jürgen Klopp at any point at the moment.
No,
I think the only job Jürgen Klopp wants is the national German team.
could
That's
be.
the only job he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think he'd
I agree there. And he would, if it came up tomorrow, we'd take it.
I think he'd go.
Would you
Yeah.
take the Napoli
At the
manager?
end of the season, that is.
I don't think. It's hard to, I don't think Klopp will go. I mean, I think he'll do. I'm hoping he sees his contract out. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
He likes Liverpool. He loves Liverpool. He's been here 7 years now.
I don't think he'll go to another team.
He won't go to another Premier League team. No.
No.
Definitely won't go to the.
Danger and changing managers. Look at United. How many managers they've had? Look at Chelsea. How many managers they've had? You know, you need stability. That was one thing Shankly gave with Paisley. They had stability. You know, Shankly, Paisley, Fagan, Kenny. The only one he struggled a bit, didn't he?
And he needs the backing off the board.
Yeah. Man, Shankly didn't get the backing of the board in the beginning.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, they had to really screw the 30,000 out of him to sign Ian St. John.
Aye.
And what a signing that was.
Yeah, one of the great signings. What we used to do, George, Ian, myself, Mick, and Tommy, we
Yeah.
used to have nights, for retired or ex-players.
Yeah.
And our first one was for Chris Lawley. But we had one of the great ones, wasn't it? It was for Tommy Smith and Tommy Lawrence together.
Yeah.
And it was
Well, I know all
absolutely
Tommy's family,
brilliant. And I tell you, another fella, you might know him, George. We went down to his house, didn't we? Willie Stevenson.
Oh, Billy Stevenson. Yeah. I played with Billy.
Absolutely brilliant. What
a left foot Billy had.
We went down to his house, didn't we? Where was it?
It's in Cheshire, wasn't it? So back in Cheshire, he lived.
He used to say, when we were playing five-a-sides with Billy, he used to say, "Don't waste it, Georgie. Give it me."
It's a pity we weren't in contact with you at the time, George, because it was all the ex-Shankly players, and a lot of the squad were there, weren't they? On
it was great, and we felt.
I got in touch with Chris's family and Tommy's family and all the family of the kids. I'm in touch with all of them because the sad thing is, Frank, there's not many of us left now, you see. There's only Gordon Wallace and me and Callie and Chris. And
Ron Yates.
There's about 6 from that squad, that are still alive.
I was talking to Ron Yates' sister-in-law a couple of days ago. I work with her. So he's,
not well, is he?
He's not well at the moment.
He's been in a nursing home for a long time.
Yeah.
What a shame, really. What a man he was. He's from Aberdeen, Big Ronnie. I was always very friendly with Ronnie. And
tell you what, Aberdeen created a few decent players, didn't they, over the years?
Yeah, where they had Ian Moyer at Man United, Dennis Law, of course. Adam Blacklaw.
Do you know what,
John Fitzpatrick?
Do you know you mentioned Big Ron there, Big Ronnie Yates, and when he signed him, he had him and he was standing. I don't know where he was standing, in the dressing room somewhere, and he had the reporters walking around.
Come and walk around him if you can.
He's a monster. And when we got the full red kit, he said, he just called, he said, "Here, come here. Put that on," he says, "and run out."
If that's everybody. If that story
that was when they put the red jersey for the first time, all red.
It's genius, isn't it? That he changed the shorts from white to red based on the fact that it made Ron Yates look massive, even more bigger than he was.
Shangley said to me, I remember Shangley says to me, "It's a big son." It'll even make you look big. Son.
Even make you look big.
Ronnie was about 6'5".
But it's sad, isn't it? I suppose, it comes to us all eventually, but it is sad. I mean, we had some great times with them. I had some great conversations with Tommy Lawrence,
Your dad won in St.
John's
Cup, didn't he?
Sorry?
Your dad won his Scotland Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, we've got Ian St. John's Scotland shirt and cap in the house in a frame,
Yeah.
That he put up for auction, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And my dad bid for it. I didn't know he was going to bid for it, but it was funny because when I first met St. John with you in the Shankly Hotel, I said to him, Ian, I said, "I was named after you. I won't swear," but he said, "Oh no, not another one."
Yeah.
and then we were sat with him having a coffee. Tommy was there, and they put the 65 Cup final on, and he turns around to me and he goes, "Is that my header there?" It was just surreal to sit there with the Saints, watching him score his goal against Leeds in the 65 Cup final.
I was in the Shankly Hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it was surreal, meeting these lads, lads who we idolised, on the terraces, and all of a sudden, I first met Ian. I used to be on LFC TV, and I always got pairs with Ian on loads of shows, loads of them, with Ian, and Jimmy Casey used to get pairs with him as well. Jan Mulby a couple of times, and Barney Rubble. I used to get, pairs with those lads on the show. But I just got to know him very, very well, the Saint.
I don't think you
And
got invited
I
to the
remember
golf.
I
Day,
spoke to
did you?
Ian about a week before he passed away, and
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, has he gone? Has he gone? Oh, that's a
Come
shame.
back, George.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, he still
Oh, yeah,
retains a sense of humour. And I said to him, Ian, I'm going up to Edinburgh at the weekend. He said, are you waiting to visit your money, Georgie? And he had that lovely laugh, his laugh. You
Yeah,
always
yeah.
have a conversation with a giggle, a laugh,
So, like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So lovely.
Yeah.
And his family.
Do you know what? Me and Ian pointed this out. What it was, do you know when LFC TV, like when they advertise things, like a proper thing,
Yeah.
and you see the Saint, don't you, sitting there, and he's talking about Shankly, and this is when he was ill, and he's talking about Shankly,
He's all upset.
and he gets all choked up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you see the tear, and he actually goes like that. He wipes the tear away.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
he said, you're doing it for them, son.
That's
You're
right.
doing
Yeah.
it for them.
That's it. Yeah. He's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Hey, Frank,
listen,
I think my battery's getting a bit low.
no, I know. I was just going to wrap it up, George.
We'd be here all night, George.
It's cracking up a few. I'm on the phone instead of the iPad because we had that trouble getting connected. And my phone's only got 9% left, so don't worry if it starts to go.
No, I'm going to wrap it up anyway, George. So,
lovely.
Obviously you'll come on again, won't you? With your iPad.
I'll be delighted to come on anytime at all. Anytime.
Come on,
it's so nice to come and see you boys.
Yeah, come on with
nice seeing you, George.
Yeah,
nice talking to you, George.
Ian, and Tom, and all of you.
Nice
It's just a joy.
As Charlie Kane says, good night, lads. Hang on, what's he saying?
It's good night from him, and it's good night from him.
Good night, lads. Great show. Enjoyed it. Goal for me, nightcap. Frank, that was he only takes a gold's watch. Is Scotch. And Brian Edley says, yes. See that, Frank? Thank you, George, and the other lads. Cheers, lads. So it's been absolutely wonderful, and I've just got to wrap it up now. So listen, George, we'll be in touch in the next week or two.
Lovely.
And come on with Jeff, if you don't mind. Okay.
I'll get my computer working properly. I'll be on the laptop, and it'll be much easier and much more.
And
less stressful.
Okay, but when you're on again, George, get a copy of your book so you can show it, and we'll advertise it then.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm smashing. I appreciate that, Frank. Yeah, it's as I say, it's been an absolute joy, the book, because it when I was ill that time with the heart bypass, it gave me something to focus on, And I'm ever so grateful to Jeff. He's a wonderful, wonderful writer and a great fellow.
Yeah. Well,
you're looking great, George. Anyway,
yes,
you look great.
I'll tell you something, George, before you go. And you said you were ill. A couple of years ago, I had a triple repair aneurysm, right? And I'm lying in bed, in the hospital. And next to me was this Evertonian. And you should have heard him. And he used to put his wife on loudspeaker, and she phoned up. And she was going on about Liverpool got beat that day or something. And she was going on about them, and I'm lying there. I couldn't do anything. I wanted to tell him to.
Did it nearly finish you off?
Exactly. Wasn't it a F-off, That's that long. But anyway.
I'm ahead of you, Frank. If you had a triple I, a five-way.
Five-way.
Bypass, yeah.
Well, we're here anyway, aren't we, to tell the tale? And
very lovely, yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
And we'll be seeing you in the next week or two, George. And it's just for me to say to everybody out there, thanks for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe and like the algorithm.
See you, mate. See you, George.
Boys. Thanks, Michael.
See you, boys. See you.
All right.
See you, Frank. See you, Ian.
See you.
Ta-ra, everyone.
Ta-ra.
Take it easy.
And you, mate. And you, Tommy.
And then there was two.
And then there's us, and all we're going to say is thanks very much, and we love you all. And we'll be back when Thursday. Is it Thursday? I don't know what day are we in. Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Right, so anyway, hopefully you might see you Thursday with all these rumours and everything else. So it's just for me to say good night and thank you to me mate here, Ian Golden.
Thanks, mate.
And I'll be seeing you very soon. Okay, cheers. Goodbye all. Ciao.